She's April.
And she's Molly.
And we are...
For the last time in season 6, the Book Besties.
Woo! Woo! And we'll have the Mollies. Like the fish.
You don't break up with your mushroom guy.
Another one for us. Cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
I will drive you there myself if I have to.
Show me the money. Can you hear the drums? Can you hear the drums?
If I drum on the table right now...
No. Can you physically hear the drums?
No.
Livia's learning the drum kit for Maneater. So she can go, do, chicka, do, chicka. I'm like, yes, Tater! Get it!
I love that for her. All right, so have you seen the first episode of season... The new season of Bridgerton, the second half. You've seen it.
The part of the first... I got to see the important parts of episode 1.
Okay, so I started... Well, not episode 1, it's episode 5, right?
Yeah, but the new... we started
the new episodes that came out.
We started the new shit last night, but I kicked Matt off at like the 30-minute marker because he had to work today.
Gotcha.
So I got to see the important scene. I
started watching it. I had the door closed. Sammy walks in, jumps on the bed, and I'm like, turn off!
Like the whole naked?
Oh, they were super naked. By the way, Nicola Coughlan, her body?
Ma'am.
Wow.
Ma'am. You were spectacular.
I'm saying good for her body. Not the part that she had the quote-unquote courage to show it off.
Just
damn. That is a body.
Her skin is... obviously soft. It is very apparent.
And it's like porcelain color.
It is so... Like, that girl
fucking sexy.
It's very apparent she grew up in Ireland and wore sunblock.
Mm-hmm.
But she is gorgeous.
She is gorgeous. They look sexy as hell together.
Yes. That is just what... This is an episode... This is a season for the buys. I promise you. This is the season for the buys.
So is Nicola Coughlan the kind of girl that you would go for?
No. See, here's the thing. I don't have a type.
Yeah, you do. Red hair.
Okay, yes, but no. Like, okay, so if we're gonna go back to the OG original, like, reason I like both genders, it's Ferngully.
Price check on prune juice, Bob. Price check on prune juice.
I had the biggest crush on the female fairy in that. And, like, she was sassy and, like, just giving.
You had a crush on a fairy, and yet you don't like Akatar.
No, and then, it gets weirder. My other main crush is Robin Hood, the Disney version.
Like the fox?
He was red hair, and he's sassy, and he's kind of androgynous.
Molly,
you don't
he
know
was
the gender.
a fox.
I was a child. Child.
Do you want to know who my first crush was?
Tall, dark, and handsome. I would assume.
No, Joey McIntyre was my first real
I
crush.
loved Joey McIntyre,
but I had the biggest crush on Egon from Ghostbusters, but the cartoon series, not the movies.
And we all had a Ninja Turtle we loved.
I was April O'Neil, so
fuck you, man, for always being an April.
Sorry,
I don't know. Yeah, how dare you be a month?
So I have this embarrassing Band-Aid on my chin. I don't even know if you can see it, but
not till you pointed it out.
I have a really nasty ingrown hair
when that happens.
My chin.
I hate when that
because I am at the age where facial
when you
hair.
hit a certain age.
Mm-hmm. And I plucked this one and
trying to get the infection out and stuff, and it just made it worse.
So now I have some meds on it because one of the things that we've talked about this before, but I have an anxiety disorder. I have generalized anxiety disorder and OCD, and I do picking, skin picking as is one of the things I do when I'm having OCD issues. And so my hands are like always torn up around my nails, but I couldn't stop picking at it. So I had to put a Band-Aid on it. Because
I'm the same way with my legs. I've always picked my legs since I was little. So like if I have a few bug bites, you'll see me in pants. Because if not, I'm going to pick those scabs till they're like, I have so many scabs on my legs. And when I was little, my mom's like, nobody's going to want to marry a woman with scabs. And I was like, they're probably going to have as many scabs as me.
I'll show you when you get here if they're still visible, but I have really bad ones from those bites I got last month.
Oh, no.
But listen,
on your legs, your poor legs.
My legs are tore up.
You're like 95% sugar, so the bugs come for you.
I really do have the blood type that bugs are more attracted to.
Same.
But if I was never gonna get a husband because of scars, I was screwed from the beginning because I was a legitimate tomboy.
Yeah.
Like my brothers thought that I was a lesbian. They were absolutely convinced that my roommate was my girlfriend. And all of them, by the way. And then I just didn't want to admit it, but I mean, there are women that think,
Prove them wrong, eh?
Right. They still didn't believe it. They were like, "Are you sure Tom's not like hiding a vagina?" No, he's not. I promise.
My children do call Matt and I a lesbian couple, so
I know. But Tom and I, that's not us.
Tom's not a lesbian.
No, Tom is not a lesbian. Although he does like women.
But he's hetero presenting.
Right.
Masculine male. So
yeah.
Definitely hetero.
But anyway,
totally off topic.
So I don't even.
So to follow up, Molly has crushes on cartoon characters. Probably why she's so screwed up and dates random people. That's.
What I was gonna say is I am straight.
Yes.
And I am not attracted to women, but there are women's bodies that I'm like, their body is very attractive.
Oh,
and Nicola Coughlin's body, shit. And that is a sexy body.
And they were very artful about that. That scene
where they're like in the mirror and he's telling her all the things that are beautiful about her while he's undressing her. Fucking empowering.
But
also, I feel like I want Tom to do that to me.
He should. He absolutely.
Well, I have to pay him for this episode, so maybe
he can do it that way. So have you seen TikTok losing their mind already? The actor that plays Colin has, since the press junket's over, he's stepped out with his his girlfriend, and people are.
I won't believe it.
People are losing their shit that he and Nicoletta aren't together, and It's like, why do I think it's Aleda? I don't know why. I add the T in there. Nicola. I don't know why. I just want to make her fancier. But yeah, people are losing their damn minds about this. Their damn minds.
I want them to be together IRL.
I mean, they're beautiful together. But he needs to be with somebody he loves, and she needs to be with someone she loves.
Anyway.
Speaking about things we love, this week's author is Steve Rowley. Sorry.
I did not want to ring a bell. I was trying to reach for the book and I hit my bell. So,
tap that
what
book.
Did you say?
I said, speaking of things we love, this week's episode is by the author Steven Rowley. Who we love.
The Celebrants, which is Steven Rowley's newest book. It came out last year. And we just didn't get it on pod for last year, but this is the second Steven Rowley we've read, and we love him.
I love him. And
he's one of those authors that's really well known, and still when we like tag him and post on social media, he like shares our stuff.
And he likes it. And
and like we have a lot of authors that do that, but not a lot of like huge authors who are paying attention to Little Pod.
Right. Like people that have been on Jenna's list on the Today Show,
right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we have Nikki, who's pretty fucking stellar, though.
I want to tell people, but we can't tell people yet.
Not yet. Soonish.
Not yet.
Soonish.
All right. So can I give you a synopsis?
I would love a synopsis.
Our last synopsis of season 6.
Also, and to end the season properly, I did not read your notes. Hey, well, I was writing.
Listen, we have both been really just inconsistent this season. We're going to try again in the fall.
We're just going to do a reset. But I have over 3K words today.
I'm so proud of you. Didn't you only have 1,200 this morning? Wow, you kicked ass.
Yeah, it's just coming out.
I love that.
I don't.
I am having surgery while we are off pod.
Thank God you're finally having surgery.
So I feel like next season I will be able to do the things better.
If I get this book out of my damn head, I might be able to do all the things better. We'll see. Or I might be in a mental institute. We'll see.
No, don't do that. But if that's what you need, then I will support you. I will drive you there myself if I have to.
I know. But I won't.
The Celebrants is a story of friendship, love, and loss. The story follows 5 college friends, Jordan, Jordy, Naomi, Craig, and Marielle, through college at Berkeley into their 50s. The story centers on their senior year pact to celebrate each other's lives in a living funeral after the 6th member of their group, Alec, is found dead of a drug overdose in their dorm common room. The idea is to make sure each one of them knows that they are loved before they die, told through flashbacks of each funeral leading up to the final funeral of an actual dying man. This book is the happy sad that Steven Rowley is known for, and it will leave you laughing and crying sometimes in the same paragraph.
Seriously.
I love him.
I'm mad at him. This book made me mad.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the questions. Let's do it.
Cool beans.
This is the second Steven Rowley book we've read for pod.
Facts.
The first was The Guncle, which we both absolutely loved that. So how did you feel this book stacked up?
I'm still going to refer people to The Guncle. Unless they are going through something or are not a kid fan, I'm going to refer them to The Guncle. I like The Celebrants, but I'm going to hold that first novel higher. I'm always going to hold Guncle higher.
This one's a lot heavier. I mean, The Guncle starts with a death as well. It's the death of his sister.
I liked the writing in Guncle more. I thought the writing felt more consistent. This was choppy in places for me that he definitely had spots where it lagged for me. And I was like, okay, the story is taking a little bit longer than it should.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of places where I could cut, mentally.
Yeah.
Like, as I'm going through the story, like, everything was in there, was needed. It just was long.
Yeah, it was. And it isn't, like, actually lengthwise any longer than The Guncle. But I think that it's just heavier. But you have to think about these people are all Gen Xers.
Yep.
Which don't fuck with Gen X.
Yep.
I was born in 1981, so I just missed Gen X by a year.
I'm 83, so I am a strong and solid elder millennials.
But don't fuck with Gen X. But they're Gen Xers. They've gone to Berkeley in the 90s.
I mean,
their friend group has queer members. Like, it's just, they're living life.
It's kind of Rent, but it's not Rent. But it's, okay.
Yeah.
I made this reference. I texted you this reference, and you didn't get it. So, this, for our listeners, this gives Big Chill vibes. So,
I don't know what that is.
So, in the 80s, there was this movie called The Big Chill. It was set in South Carolina, and all these friends get together at this house for one weekend, and it's like all weird, and like there's this unspoken tension, and it's just weird. And that's kind of the vibe you get. Like, there's a lot going on, but we don't get all the story. And that's what this book is, right? Like, we obviously know that these guys have a deep and long living friendship, and we're not getting all of it.
And I think that part of that is because he chose to tell the story in a nonlinear fashion and really to focus on the funerals themselves.
Yeah,
like we get snippets of what their college life was like, but mostly that is told when they're reflecting. I think, like, we find out a big secret during someone else's funeral.
Right. I feel like part of this is I struggled to connect with the characters because I didn't go to college with them. I didn't fall in love with them when they fell in love together. I was getting to know them through flashbacks. So I think it was harder for me.
Like, I feel like I feel like this is like being someone that's Gen Z and watching Friends.
Yes.
You don't get the same feeling because
No.
we grew up on Friends.
Right. This wasn't, I'm not getting all the references. Like,
Yeah.
one of there's a Courtney scale.
Yeah.
Cox, Love, and somebody else. And I didn't know who the other Courtney was.
Yeah.
Like, that reference went right over my head.
But that, we could still translate that, and that's later to talk about.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Translate it to, like, today's world. But, yeah, I mean, but the Guncle is so good, and it's, I feel like the Guncle was healing, where this book didn't heal you. It left you bleeding.
This book is about closure, but it wasn't about our closure. It was about the character's closure. Yeah. And whatever you need to do to heal from this book is on you, not Steven Rowley.
Yeah, Steven Rowley is going to leave you bleeding after this one. So maybe after this one you read the Guncle, because it'll heal you.
A little bit. It's still sad.
I mean, it is, but it's not like this. Sad. But I know that we're picking it apart right now, but I really loved it.
We pick everything apart. We pick everything apart. We picked Big Swiss apart, and we hated that. We picked a House on the Cerulean Sea apart, and we fucking loved that.
Listen, that's why we make the big money.
Which is $0, gang.
Which is $0.
But you could pay us in love and thoughts and prayers.
You could pay us.
Or just pay us. Show me the money.
Our main characters go through decades of life in this book. This includes marriages, divorces, deaths, illnesses, and one child. There's one kid between all of them, Mia. Was there one character that you latched onto more than the others, and what made their story more appealing?
I think because we were with the Jordans the most, they're who I wanted to stick with and who I wanted to stay with. I felt the most connected to the one that got married and pregnant. And that was pregnant. Marielle. I felt the most connected to her because Marielle's holding a big secret, right? And she's just trying to get through and to raise her child and just push through. And I can relate to that. I'm not saying I'm in a shitty marriage or anything like her, but I get that.
I gotcha.
I get that. Okay, we got to get the kids made. We got to put time to make the donuts, man. Right. Time to make the donuts.
Right.
That's a Gen X reference right there, guys.
So, for me, the Jordans and the Jordans, Jordan and Jordy, we do spend the most time with them. So definitely I latched onto their story. And their story is more of like the central story. But the character that I really gravitated towards the most was actually Craig.
I was gonna guess that.
And gonna guess that.
You and Craig, yeah.
It's because he's the outcast of the group. They make this like toast, and they're talking about how he easily plucks out. Like, he's the Phoebe of the group. He easily plucks out. He's not a part of one of the relationships. He's not the girls. Like,
right. And he's not in the gays, and he's just
Yeah. And I think that what really fascinated me was the fact that, and this is a spoiler, so if you guys don't want spoilers, I'm sorry.
I don't know where you guys have been, but
book's been out for a year. I don't know what to tell you.
And we've been doing spoilers for the last 4, so welcome to the show.
Yes. 6 seasons, no spoilers. But thinking when Marielle, in her grief of Alec dying, she sleeps with Craig. And
this storyline,
Mia is his.
And this storyline has no real conclusion. And that really irritated me.
I mean, I feel like it did, because the obituary at the end, Marielle has the same last name as him. So they got married.
Yeah, but it took them fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
And she never told Mia who her real father was.
Yeah, like, that's the part that's like...
That whole shit show bothered me. That whole shit show. First, claiming it was the boyfriend that died was the father. Obviously, it wasn't.
She never did. She was claiming it was her husband. She wanted it to be his.
Flag gang.
But, yeah, I feel like I want another I want a short story, a novella of their story.
Yes.
Because they kept floating in and out of each other's lives, and they eventually found love with each other.
It just feels unfinished. And I think that's part of the point of this book, right? Is because life is unfinished, right? We leave life unfinished no matter when we die. At 90 or 9, you will have unfinished business. And I get it, Steve. Your fucking analogies hit me in the face. Can you not do this shit to us, though? That'd be great, friends.
I love it. I'm want glad more of him.
Good for you. Good for you.
Living funerals are a big deal in this book. There are people who actually choose to do this when they know they're dying, and then they can be part of their funeral. So is this something you'd consider?
With my health and the way my life has been, if I knew I had a short amount of time, I absolutely am having a party. I'm not having a funeral, and there won't be a funeral after I'm gone. If I am that sick, I will be having a party. You guys I will have calling hours. You will come to see me. We will have a pool. It probably will still be here. We'll have a pool party. We will fucking go all out. We're all getting fucking stoned. We're all getting drunk. We're just doing it. And you know what? We're all going to be happy in the end. And that's how I want you guys to remember it. And that's how you want to remember me, right? I don't want this, oh my God, she's in a box and about to go into the ground thing.
Yeah.
Because that's not me anymore. Once we're no longer in this vessel, we're no longer in this vessel. I don't care if you believe in a God or your reincarnation, whatever. Whenever the lights go out in this vessel, whatever makes us us is gone.
Yeah. I don't think I would either. I think funerals are for the living, and they're not for the person that's passed.
No.
But Tom and I have, talked about it because our belief system is that when we die, there's an afterlife. We go to heaven. And because I'm no longer in my body, I don't care if I'm buried or cremated. Like, I don't really care. Do whatever is what you need to grieve.
Right.
And
because it's not about me at that point.
But I do want a celebration of life service. I want people to talk about the ways that I touch their lives. And maybe it was just that I was one time really high at your house and trying not to float off the couch. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is.
And that's what we did. My family recently lost a very dear family member that I found very dear to me. My cousin Rhea passed, and that's what we did for hers. It wasn't a funeral. It was a celebration of life.
Celebration of life.
And you know what? I was fine until they told me they brought her piano to the church. And then I lost it. I was like, why would you bring that? To make me cry?
Yeah.
Because you did a good job.
Yeah.
Good job. In the Matt voice. You guys don't know that, so that doesn't help. Next question! And I'm the punchy one now.
You're so silly. Okay, so I want to talk about each funeral separately. I don't know how else to talk about this book because it's non-linear and like I don't know how else to talk about it. So we're gonna go through each funeral if that's okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with Alec. Alec dies during their senior year of college due to a drug overdose. Marielle, who is Alec's on-again, off-again... I actually wrote on-again, girlfriend. On-again, off-again girlfriend. Finds him in the common room. Alec's roommate, who is Jordy, tries to give CPR, but Alec is already dead. Alec's funeral is the first real funeral in the book, and the group head to Naomi's parents' cabin at Big Sur to grieve together.
Yeah.
This is also where they make their pact. It's Marielle's idea, and they make this pact.
They were like all drunk, right?
Yeah.
They were all like drunk and just like grieving. And
they're all seniors at Berkeley at this point.
22, 23?
Yeah. They're like 21, 22, 23. And, they're graduating from college. And I feel like we had a couple kids die in high school. And we had kids die in college, but you still feel like you're infinite.
Oh, yeah.
You live like there's no tomorrow. You drink excessively.
Right.
You do stupid shit because it doesn't matter because tomorrow it's going to come.
It was different for me. Mm-hmm. All my friends joined the military.
Well, yeah.
So, but
again, tell me y'all didn't get smashed drunk in the military.
Oh, fuck yeah. Like, those motherfuckers.
Todd was drinking at a Coastie bar.
Those bitches drink harder than everybody else.
On his 21st birthday, he came in and said, "You want to see my ID?" And the bartender chick was like, "You've been drinking here for months." He's like, "Yeah, but now I actually can." She's like, nice. Fuck.
Yeah. Cool. Come for my job. Come for my job. Try to come for my job. That's a Taylor line.
I know.
It's Taylor.
I'm so depressed, and nobody even knows. Oh,
like
Taylor.
She's a professional or something.
I'm saying. I cry a lot, but I am so productive.
What cracks me up, she owned everyone last night. She owned everyone last night.
100th show, she's going to give a big announcement. It's like the tour's ending.
100th show. Mm-hmm. It's the 13th of the month. Mm-hmm. It's her half birthday. Like, there's all these stars aligning, right? And, like...
I did not like the Reputation album, so I'm not, like, totally excited for her to release Taylor's version of that. TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, I mean, anything new from Taylor, I
was rooting for the Florida music video, and, like, I was thinking she's going to release Florida. I was hoping she was going to release Florida and have Florence come out, right? That would have been wild, right?
Really cool.
So, but that did not happen.
I was hoping she was going to announce that she was engaged to Travis Kelce.
Yeah, no. You see that people are tracking her stomach right now?
You listen to me, motherfuckers.
They're tracking her stomach.
You have absolutely no right to comment on a woman's body at all. It's none of your business.
You know what happens when people get happy in a relationship? They gain weight.
Yeah.
You want to know why? Because they're not anxious. Their blood pressure's down. They're eating better. They're taking care of themselves. They are sleeping better. You want to know why? Because they feel loved and cared for. So when you fuckers sit here and judge someone on their body because they've gained a couple pounds, it makes you look like twats.
Maybe.
Just maybe.
Maybe it's none of our business.
And maybe she is pregnant. But you know what? We're all in privacy. Not on the tour. She would not be dancing her ass off that way. Mm-mm.
But here's the thing. She actually can't dance. I love that they found a way to like get her to do this kind of stuff. And she looks like she's dancing. But she's so not a good dancer.
Tina. She's Tina. Yeah.
We have gone off the rails.
Okay, back to questions.
So, I don't want to talk about Alex's actual cause of death yet. We can talk about that later. But at this point in the story, they make the pact. And basically the idea is they're facing their own mortality at this point. And they don't want to lose that closeness that you get with your college friends or for you with like your shipmates and things like that. Like that becomes your family. I mean, fuck Molly. That's how we became friends.
I mean, we are family.
I know.
I love your kids. They are my boys.
I love your kids.
I would go to fucking the mats for them.
Ooh. I know.
By the way, they're huge, by the way.
They're so big.
Fucking huge. It's so big. When those boys are taller than me, I am so going to yell at them for it.
I don't think it's going to be that much longer.
Fucking rude.
James is already over 5 foot.
Rude.
I know.
Rude. Anyway.
But I mean, and I love your husband too.
Oh my God. And Tom and I have this sibling relationship. Yeah. I love him so much. I also annoy the shit out of him and he annoys the shit out of me sometimes. So.
And the thing
honestly,
is that
we love that though. Like him and I love that dynamic. If our dynamic changed, I think him and I would both burst into flames.
I mean, you're the closest thing to a sister he's ever had. He doesn't have sisters and I don't have sisters. So he did. Yeah.
Just like the Eds. That's what you guys got. You got me. Mm-hmm. I'm your baby sister, fucker.
I saw a TikTok where this woman was like talking about how she trusts her best friend with her husband, and then somebody else like stitched it and was like, yeah, I used to have that husband and then he cheated on me with best friend. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, this is so Molly and me. Like, we can trust each other with each other's men. Like, not only could we trust each other, we can trust our men.
Right. Like, I love Tom, but in the most platonic way possible. Like,
I love Matt, but I'm pretty sure I would break him in half.
Matt is poor Matt. He only has eyes for me. That boy.
I mean, good for you, girl. You need that.
I know. I deserve it after all I've been through. Anyway, back to the book.
Back to the book. Next up is Marielle. So Marielle gets married shortly after graduation to a man she meets by chance at a museum in D.C. Mm-hmm. We find out later she was pregnant when she got married. And as I've already said, it turns out that was Craig's child. Marielle's husband leaves her after years of cheating on her. When their daughter is a teenager, because he's raised her now.
He's done his job.
He's done his job is actually what he tells her. Marielle remembers the pact from over a decade before and triggers the first celebrant retreat. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on Marielle's funeral?
She needed a reset.
Yeah.
She needed a reset, and she needed to go back to the time where she felt most like herself. And the last time she felt like herself was when she was 20 years old.
Yeah.
She was crying her eyes out because the man she loved most in the world had died. Yeah. And had the people she loved most in the world next to her. Like,
and she had career aspirations and basically ended up giving that up to be a stay-at-home mom. And that was just never who she was.
Sup. Yep.
There's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom.
No, but how many of our generation have done that? Right?
Molly, I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years, and I had a fucking master's degree and was just sitting at home.
I have a bachelor's.
Taking care of babies.
Taking care of babies.
I know that. I'm not saying anything.
Oh, no, I know that. I know that.
I'm not judging you at all. I'm saying, like, I get it. Like, I could only handle it for 4 years. The fact that she did it till her kid was a teen is fucking amazing.
I've only worked 2 jobs since I left the Coast Guard, and both were temp. Mm-hmm. Well, this counts. This is work. This is real work, guys.
Writing counts. You've written 3,000 words.
Today. Yeah. I've written more than that.
How many words?
3K today.
3K.
3K today. The goal is 2K every day, but have finished novels. I have books.
I know that.
They're not good. Or I don't think they're good. But that's beside the point. Not the point. Okay, back to the book.
So Marielle has the first one, and so like it's kind of a clusterfuck, much like this episode.
Yes.
And
I kind of love it though. It's like trying to piece together a puzzle that doesn't fit.
We're filming this at 8:45 p.m. after I've worked all day.
And I was up at 8:40 because I couldn't sleep. And not 8:40, 5:40 because I couldn't sleep this morning.
I didn't sleep at all last night. Life is hard
but
right now.
No,
but Marielle has these expectations, and like I feel like I understand her very well because she has these expectations that my friends are going to come through for me. They're going to fix this pain
of me because I am broken right now.
But she hasn't even talked to them in so long, so much so that she doesn't even have contact information for Craig. They're not even friends on Facebook.
Could you imagine? They're so close. At one point, they talk about how they all lay together. They're talking about how they all lay on this couch. Yeah. And they've been friends off and on for 40 plus years at this point. And they all climb on this couch and they all have a place because they've always had a place together. And they fit together like these little puzzle pieces. And one's rubbing one and one's rubbing another. And they're just comforting each other and loving on each other. Yeah. And even though they had this 20-year gap, they still loved each other.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of friend, by the way.
I mean, when we're
out of your life for
when
years.
we're at your house, you sit on the lounge part. Yep. Tom sits on the one end. I lay across the couch where our heads are on pillows beside each other. And then there's always dogs in our laps.
And there's definitely a kid in my lap. And their son is climbing between us.
Yeah, well, because he can't sit still.
That's because he's got ADHD.
Yeah, that's true.
Woo!
Another
one for us. Cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
No.
Anyway.
The third funeral is Naomi's after the sudden and tragic death of her parents from a plane crash, which was awful. At first, I actually thought it was the Twin Towers. I thought they were doing like that. And then I was like, oh, no, that's not what it is.
No.
They Naomi,
were on a private plane, right?
Yeah, I think so. But they were also off the West Coast, not the East Coast. Naomi doesn't want to go back to Big Sur, where her parents are still very much part of. Mm-hmm. Instead, the Celebrants head to Mexico for an international living funeral. What are your thoughts on Naomi's story?
Naomi needed to be with the people that loved her.
Yeah.
And her parents' funeral, there was not a single person other than Marcel there that loved her.
Marisol.
Like, the Celebrants?
Marielle,
whatever. The fucking M1, right? She was the only, like, the people that were there that loved her at that funeral were, there was only a few that she counted on her hand. So she needed to get away from that. She needed to get away from the formality and the weight and the heaviness of her parents and decompress and reset and figure out who she is in this world now. Because she didn't just become an orphan. She became the child of a very wealthy, like she absorbed a very wealthy fortune.
And I feel like she's that perfectionist that's been looking for her parents' approval her whole life. And she finally came to the realization that that's not going to happen. Literally, they're dead now.
I mean, she literally was at their grave trying to, like, she was literally trying to make their funeral perfect because she felt like she never made anything right.
She never lived up.
Nope, because she didn't go to the right school. She didn't study the right thing. She didn't not, even though she is like one of the most famous music producers or agents or whatever the fuck she is in the music industry. She's like one of the biggest, right?
Yeah.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
I thought there was a lot of humor in this one as well.
There was.
So they decide. So Naomi gets really drunk, and she decides that she is going to go skydiving.
She wants to fly.
She picks up the only way that she can actually fly is to go skydiving. So she's going to go skydiving, and everybody's going to go skydiving.
She picks up the phone, hammered off her ass, because they've been drinking straight tequila all night,
all day. All day.
And she picks up the phone and she goes, "Hello, front desk, I want to fly." And the front desk's like, "What?" She's like, "I want to fly." And he's like, "It's 3 a.m. She's like, "I still want to fly?"
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, I'll figure something out." And then they're like, "Okay, your flight's."
And she doesn't ask anybody. She's just like, "We're doing this." And because they're all like,
I'm that friend, by the way,
grieving, they are like, okay, well, I guess we're going skydiving. So then they're up in this tiny plane. They don't speak the same language as anyone aboard the plane.
The pilot doesn't speak English.
Naomi decides she has a crush on the pilot.
So and wants to fly the plane.
Instead, she's like, starts crashing the plane.
Well, she tells them she's trying to explain that her parents died in a plane crash, but one of the jumpers hears the plane is crashing, and he's like, go, get out of the plane now!
Right. And then they all jump, even though they don't want to.
Because they're not even at the jump zone yet.
No. And Naomi's skydiver he can't get her to go. So he just like leaves her on the plane. He's like,
okay, fine, whatever, stay.
And then, was it Jordan or Jordy who had a parachute that didn't open?
I mix up the Jordans.
I do too. I think it's intentional.
Yes.
I think the reason they become the Jordans is because they're one and the same. Even though one is Mexican and one is a Midwesterner.
When Matt dies, that will be my goal, to find a Molly. But not my Molly spelling.
I can't take two of you.
No. Mollie. And I will be Molly. And we'll have the Mollies. Like the fish. I'm sober. I'm just punchy. But
I wish I were not.
But no, the skydiving thing with the whole, like, the Jordans losing their mind was hilarious because he was like nearly dying, and then then what happens next? So
yeah, let's go into the fourth funeral.
Yeah.
All right, the fourth funeral is Craig's, and this one's actually triggered by Mary L because Craig called her when he was at his lowest. He's about to be convicted of art fraud for appraising an art piece for far more than the actual value. The Celebrants head to NYC, where Craig and the Jordans, who are now married to each other at this point, they got married sometime after
his Naomi's
funeral and before Craig's funeral, after...
because he got diagnosed with, one of the Jordans got cancer.
Jordan has testicular cancer. They get married after he's in remission.
Right.
So anyway, they're now married to each other, and Craig and the Jordans live in NYC, and so Naomi and Mariel come there. All right, so what do you think about this one?
First and foremost, this is how your funeral would go. I would be forcing you to have your living funeral. You would not want it.
I was like, we're going to be high on mushrooms?
No. Actually, Katie would probably help us out with that. Microdosing, right, Katie? But no, I really think, like, okay, first and foremost, if anybody's going to go to jail for no reason, it's Craig.
Yeah.
Poor Craig.
Yeah.
He just, wrong place, wrong time, buddy.
Yeah.
Wrong place.
He did it, but he shouldn't have been held responsible.
It wasn't his fault, man.
It wasn't his fault.
He was getting rushed so much.
Right.
This was not a Craig fault.
There was pressure on him to appraise it and say it was authentic. And the woman's name was
fake. Like, it spelled inauthentic or
no. Oh my gosh. Keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find it because her name is basically...
It says scam or something.
Yeah.
S-cam. It's S-cam. S-cam. Scam. Or S-cammer, right?
No, it's not that at all. But
anyways, so they kidnap him practically. And pretty much he's about to just give up. Okay? He's decided that he's just going to plead guilty. He's going to take whatever time they give him. And he's just going to move on. And he's going to live this life. And they're like, that's super stupid. You need to definitely fight this. You know you didn't do anything wrong. And he's like, meh. And they're like, well, you know what? We're going to go. I don't even remember where they go back to the
They go back to his house.
Right, the apartment. Oh my God, and then they go on that trip high.
Yes, they go on a boat around New York Harbor, and they're on mushrooms.
Yes. And they're like, is he a real delegate? Oh, not a real delegate. They kept calling it was the guy was a ambassador, right? He was the seas the ship's ambassador, right?
Yeah.
And
I just remembered what her name was. It was Khan.
Khan. Yeah. He was an ambassador, right? And they're like, ambassador. And they're like, he's like, what? And it's just like this teenager. And
only like, one of them is sober. And I think it was...
It's the music Jordan? Producer. No, it was the music producer.
Oh,
because Naomi, because she got them. Okay. So first, before they do the mushrooms, Naomi brings over a consultant,
a prison consultant,
to help with him prepare. This is his funeral. A prison consultant who is also a drummer for another band, who is a well-known band in this world.
And the band is sober, by the way.
Yeah,
because that comes up.
And he also got them the mushrooms.
Right. I mean, he's sober, but he got the mushrooms from somebody who wasn't.
I mean, but you don't smoke your own stash. You know what I mean?
You don't break up with your mushroom guy.
No, you don't break up with your mushroom guy. So, like, he ends up going to jail, right? And
he does. He goes to prison.
He goes to prison, but for less time than he was going to.
Yes, because Naomi ends up hiring him a better attorney.
Right.
She's like, I have all this money. I can't spend all of it. I'm doing this for you. This is what I want to do.
This is what's happening. This is what's going down.
Yeah. one of the things I want to talk about is that there comes a secret comes out.
Yes. Okay. This secret.
We find out Jordan, who was Alec's roommate, Alec told him that he was HIV positive.
I audibly gasped.
And I thought this was an amazing inclusion here because you're thinking about college kids in the 90s, especially in a group that had so many queer members.
Yeah.
Gay men.
Yeah.
And that's, HIV was huge. Into the 90s was a gay man's disease, which it's not. That's nonsense.
It's not.
But I really love the inclusion of this.
It was a great way because it affected so many people back then.
So many people. And they wrote a hit Broadway musical about it.
Rent is the whole point of that, right?
Yeah.
And look, that was heartbreaking and devastating. And how everyone found out was bullshit.
Yeah.
Was bullshit.
I don't think Jordan intended for it to be so hurtful.
No.
But Marielle is like, I was sleeping with him. Like, I deserve to know. Yes. And, Craig was Alec's best friend, and so he felt betrayed because he didn't know. We learned that it was needles that were the cause.
The drug
usage. And everyone's kind of mad because they're like, we could have watched him closer. So at one point you texted me and were like, did we ever find out if it was an accidental overdose or if it was, intentional?
Because it just felt as the more they talked about Alec and the more he felt like the friend that was always on the ledge.
Yeah. And we never get a conclusion because we can't know. Alec's dead for the whole book. He's dead.
Yeah. We're never going to get
we do know that
Alec wanted.
After he found out he was HIV positive, in the 90s, that was a death sentence.
Yeah.
It was a death sentence. There were very few treatments, and all of them were experimental. And the people who are still living with HIV/AIDS today, who were diagnosed then, they were in all the clinical trials and just got lucky. And I personally know one of them because my uncle died of AIDS in 2004, and his longtime 20-year-long partner, he's still living. He's living with AIDS. He's not dying of AIDS. He's living with it.
We have a family friend that got diagnosed in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And,
but it was a death sentence.
Living with it today. He's barely survived COVID. He's anemic. There's a lot going on. He had cancer. It was bad.
Well, what ended up killing my uncle, because you don't die from AIDS. You die from
everything else. Yeah. It's not the AIDS that kills you. It's your immune system so
your
much.
Your immune system's
gone.
Anything.
Your immune system is gone.
So what ended up killing him was he drank fresh spring water.
Oh no.
Ended up catching a bacteria that went to his brain.
Oh no.
Yep.
I'm so sorry.
That's what did it. And he had been at that point living with AIDS, not HIV, AIDS. Oh gosh, probably for well over a decade at that point.
Man, could you imagine?
Yeah. It was really sad. It was my senior year of college. It was really sad.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah. All right, so on that note, let's move on to the final funeral.
Yeah.
All right, so the final funeral is for Jordan. Yeah. Jordan's cancer has come back, and he probably has 3 to 6 months to live at this point. He and Jordy have not told their friends, but Jordy convinces him to trigger the pact. Yeah. You need to tell our friends. We need a chance to celebrate you before you die.
Right.
And they go to Big Sur, where this all started. They're back at Big Sur.
Yeah.
And when they get there, Jordan actually lets Jordy borrow his funeral. Yeah. And basically what this does is ensures that their pact will never die.
It leaves it open-ended.
Because Jordan can't have a living funeral, so they'll still be required to be there for each other because he didn't want his husband to be alone. Like, that's what it is. That.
Right.
He wanted his husband to get remarried and to have another great love. And Jordy, this is all relevant to what happens in their story because we get so many different threads of their story. Jordy didn't come out until after college. Yeah. The only man that he's had a relationship with is Jordan.
And so Jordan's like, be a slut.
Go fuck be around. Go hoe around.
Go find those 20-somethings.
Yeah. Go get a twink and do the things.
Yes, baby. Get it. We're so wrong.
So wrong. So for me, their story here at the end, it was happy, sad. It was their love story. What?
It was happy, sad.
Oh, it was so happy, sad. But I gotta talk about this. Jordan arranges for Jordy to be in a swim marathon.
Oh my God, this ending.
And they're swimming from Alcatraz to San Francisco. And this is like the escape route.
We get it. We get it. Okay, yeah. Craig gets it.
Shark-infested waters.
Was that? I really think that was a metaphor, by the way, in the ending.
Okay. What do you think?
Okay, so in the end, one of the Jordans fucking never can get them right.
Jordan's the one dying. Jordy is the one that's going to be left.
The swimming Jordan.
That's Jordy.
The one, but he doesn't like being called Jordy.
Jordan's the one that named him that. He's like, there couldn't be two of us.
He had a whole tantrum about it. So the one in the water, okay, he's swimming and he's like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. I can't, like, this is ridiculous. And he looks down and he's like, 3 strokes, look up. 3 strokes, look up. And one of them, he's like, there's a shadow. I just saw something in the water. And the farther he goes, the more he's like, okay, we're going to look again. Oh shit, there's something in there. And he keeps talking. And he's in this mindset. He's like, it's nothing there. It's nothing there. And
it's a fucking shark.
It's a fucking shark, okay? And so these people are on shore screaming about this shark. And I'm like, I'm sitting here and I pause the book and I go, Steve Rowley, are you really wrapping this book up with a metaphor for life? About how the shark's always fucking chasing us?
So I stopped the audiobook because I did the audiobook also. By the way, Steven Rowley also narrates this audiobook. He's a great narrator. He's
5 stars for audiobook narration alone.
Love it.
He's so good.
I stopped the audiobook. I looked at Tom and I'm like, if this book is going to end with the other guy dying or the other Jordan dying from a shark attack.
If both of the Jordans
I'm going to be so mad. And Tom just looks at me and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, never mind.
So, okay, here's how that happens. Jordan gets attacked by a shark, bleeds out on the shore. The other Jordan has a heart attack because his heart can't handle it, watching his husband bleed out. So then we end with a service for both Jordans. The Jordans lived a happy... Could you imagine?
Oh, man.
Okay, we gotta wrap this up. We are getting punchy.
All right, so in case you didn't guess by the way I broke down the funerals, I had trouble writing questions for this book. And it's not because I didn't like the book. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. The issue with writing questions is that it was so politically written in multiple timelines that make up the whole story. It is written like life.
Yes.
So I was wondering what your overall thought was.
It's definitely written like we're having flashbacks of memories. I gave it a 4. It's a solid 4 for me. There's pitfalls in this for me in different places where I felt like the story lagged and didn't. I struggled with keeping the characters separated at times. So there was just like...
For me, it was just the Jordans that I was getting mixed up.
I mixed the girls up sometimes and I kept forgetting about Craig. And it's just... It was missing something and I can't say what. So...
That's fair.
Yeah. Did I answer your question well?
You did. Okay, all right, good. Last question. I'm skipping another one because we've already beaten that dead horse. Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about the Courtney scale.
So the millennial version... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think our version of the Courtney scale is?
Okay, so I have 3 options. I got Brittany's, Jessica's, and Jen's. So Jen Aniston, Jen Garner, and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
That's brilliant.
Okay, then Jessica's. Jessica Alba, Jessica Simpson, Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one. Brittany Snow, Britney Spears, Brittany Murphy.
The only thing I would change is for the Jennifer one.
Uh-huh.
I would put Jennifer Lopez instead
of Aniston.
No, who was the last one you said?
Jennifer Love Hewitt, because she's very millennial.
I would put Lopez because I feel like Aniston and Love Hewitt are to me they're falling on the same end of the scale.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay.
And they're Jennifer Garner. That is definitely Love Hewitt and Garner are definitely on the same side.
But here's the thing. When we were talking about the Courtney scale in the book, I recognized 2 of the Courtneys. I didn't know the other one.
I knew all of them, but now I can't remember who the third one was.
So she wasn't important.
Right. I think it was Courtney from
she had 3 names. A Courtney with 3 names.
It was Courtney Thorne-Smith. And she was from it was a spinoff of 90210.
Courtney Thorne-Smith?
Mm-hmm.
Oh! You know what I know her from? She did a show with, fucking hell. It was her, and she was with, God damn it. Damn it. My brain sucks. Okay. It doesn't, Brad Paisley's wife. She did a show with Brad Paisley's wife. It was on for like 3 seasons. I can't remember what it was, but they were sisters and they were opposites. I just remember it was Brad Paisley's wife and that woman.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's all I got. Anything else?
No, this is our season, guys.
This is it. This is the end of season 6. Spend your summer re-listening to episodes or listening to ones that you didn't listen to. And join us on Instagram because Nurse Katie and I are doing Smut Girl Summer. We've already posted one last week. There'll be another one out this week. And then because we'll be done with the episodes, they'll continue to be one a week. But I don't know what days we'll post it. But I am currently reading our second one, Happy Place by Emily Henry. And I love Emily Henry, and this book is not getting it for me. It's the first of her books I'm not going to give a 5-star to.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got your bell there for you, babe.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's all I've got. We'll see you guys in September. Listen, check social media because we can't tell you what yet, but we will have something special in August that will also roll into September. We just can't tell you what it is yet.
As soon as we can.
As soon as we can, we're blowing every shit up. Or all the things.
We're doing all of the things.
We'll be obnoxious with our
promoting. I promise you we will be releasing bonus episodes just to blow it up.
Yeah, we will. Because next season is going to be our biggest and best. Like, hands down, what we have planned for season 7 is freaking amazing.
Huge.
So, have a good summer, besties. We'll see you in the fall. Bye! Thank you for joining us on Book Besties. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The views discussed here are those of April and Molly, not those of anyone else. Today's book was The Celebrants by Steven Rowley. Your book besties are Molly Biggs and April Watkins. Editing by Thomas Watkins, and music is Sleep Sweetly by Prigida. Don't forget to follow the Book Besties on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you'd like to contact the Book Besties, please email us at bookbestiespod@gmail.com or visit our website, bookbestiespodcast.com. Until next time, besties, get lost in your favorite book.